Yo, what's poppin'? All my peeps. It is I, your host with the most Renaissance man who always thinks he can. I'm kind of putting, see where those titles are? Those are my championship belts. Yeah, we're putting the champ of the peeps on the shelf. It is time to bring the captain of all things nonsensical, Patty Pitts, back for another edition of the Raw Rewind, part of Pitts and Sara's wrestling show, where we take no nights off. And it's not just me, Patty P, here in the Yard of Streams. I'm joined, as always, by the best of the West. You can't forget about Sara Marshall. What's popping, girl?
Hey, yo.
Hello.
Hey, yo.
Hey, yo.
What's popping? How we doing?
Oh, it was a busy day today.
Mm,
Mike Vrabel spoke at the combine, so
yeah,
there was a lot to write about because this is going to be a football heavy week, baby.
it is. The combine really snuck up on me. Not gonna lie.
Well, in like 2 weeks, it's free agency, so it's like,
That's
oh,
crazy.
I know.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Feels like they moved the combine up. They probably didn't, but in my mind, it just feels like they did.
No, I think it usually falls like on the last week of February. So,
well, you know what it is? It's the newly televised pro days. You know, they're televising basically every top picks pro day in some way,
I
shape,
think
or
also
form.
time just goes by so fast.
Oh, you're telling me.
You know, like, I don't know. It's like 8 weeks till Mania. It's like, what?
Oh, I was doing the math out today, and I'm just like, how the fuck does it?
53?
Are we this close?
I know. I think it's 53 days.
And it's even shorter for me because I'm not. It's not Mania, but I'm heading out to you. I'll be on the West Coast a weekend before.
Yeah.
For my good pal Jimmy Cronk getting married. I have friends getting married, Sara.
We're at that age.
I was supposed to be the master of ceremonies. You know, I was supposed to marry them. But I got shut down.
Oh.
They're getting married in a church now, and it was not their decision.
Oh, man.
Very upset about it still to this day. I will not live that down because I would have done a fantastic job. And there are people who say I wouldn't. And I don't like that opinion.
Yeah.
Sara, I wouldn't, even though they call me the captain of all things nonsensical, it would be a very sensical wedding.
Well,
right?
yeah.
That's not the time.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's not the time to put on the cape to say, you know what it's not the time.
Yeah.
And I don't like how people can't distinguish that. But my peeps who do enjoy, you know, a little captain nonsense action. Sophia, I did not have braces when I was in high school.
Me neither.
I didn't need braces. I sucked my thumb for like 11 years. Still didn't need braces.
I probably could have used braces, but more so of just like pulling my teeth back a little bit. But otherwise, like my teeth came in straight for the most part. So I was lucky too. I was not a braced face, you know.
I wasn't either. It's awesome. Feels good. That sucks to hear. I mean, it is spring training, so like it's your farm system, really. So it just really shows that your farm system sucks right now. And that they're not gonna sweep the Celtics. All right. I hate to break it to you, pal. I know you have Luka, and that is cool. I love Luka. But
we slaughtered him last year, so
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He just wanted backup in LeBron, but we all know LeBron's record against us. Sup, final boss. Good to see you. What's up? Liking the new start me? Yeah, dude. We didn't change that.
Yeah.
I hate to break it to you.
StreamYard did it on its own. So shout out StreamYard.
One of the few changes that they've made that I don't mind.
Yeah.
And I don't hate because everything else really annoys me, really ticks me off. Was it so? Liv is pulling double duty at Mania. Is another year. Women's tags won't be defended. Last time defended Mania was 6 years ago. I think they're going to be defended. There's 2 nights.
I think Okay, well, my prediction, and we'll talk about it tomorrow for Elimination Chamber, but I still feel like Bianca is winning the Elimination Chamber.
Yeah.
But I think we might see something with Jade between now and then. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see the women's tag titles defended against like Naomi and Jade or something.
Ooh.
You know?
Or other teams. Well, there's no other real. It's like I'm in the camp of wanting an NXT tag team to be the women's tag team champions, like Zaria and Solruka, my new favorite tag team right now. I mean, Metaphor Girls are making a case. There's a lot more people that belong in that championship division than who we've got so far.
Yeah.
I think that's going to change at Mania. I think good things are happening. Raw was great. Thank you. Someone's talking.
It was.
A lot of people are not too high on the product. A lot of critique.
I mean, I have my critiques, but
yeah, and we knew that was coming. Bianca or Alexa. I like Alexa, but that's a fan. I like the fan in me wants Alexa, but like
I think it's Bianca.
Up here is different. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like up here is a little different.
Yeah, I just think when I'm thinking about WrestleMania, I just think like right now the WrestleMania match is Bianca and Rhea. If this was like next year and Alexa had been back for a while, then maybe. But I think like when we're talking about like a WrestleMania caliber match right this second, it's Bianca and Rhea.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, and I'm not even trying to get my hopes up necessarily because of just how out of left field the Rumble was. So it's like we could be completely wrong. Bianca looks like the front runner and they have like Roxanne Perez win for all we know. So
like, yeah, I mean they're very good at swerving us.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see if there's anything else to bring up. No, everyone just comments. Oh, Dickie did ask, do you not see the vision that Naomi did it? I see the vision that Bianca did it.
I'm still team Bianca. I think Bianca becoming a heel is a bigger deal than Naomi.
Yeah, like Naomi just stepped in. Like, it's too obvious to me, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
her just stepping in, it's too old school WWE.
Yeah.
And that writing creative. I see.
To me, it makes more sense because Bianca was in the women's US title tourney. She took out Jade, who was also in the title tourney. So it's like, okay, well, she was thinking about bigger things. Yeah.
But like she had to, you know what I mean? Like
you gotta go with the bit.
You gotta run with the bit. I mean, yeah, she lost her opportunity with the US title picture, but it elevated her to the women's world heavyweight title picture. So
it's hard to say.
You have to make sacrifices sometimes. Ugh. Yeah, you do. You do.
Are we ready for
Raw? Are we ready to Raw talk? Are we ready to rewind it and talk Raw?
Yeah. So, okay. At the top of the show, I'm still one of those people that is like just praying it's not Jey Uso. Okay. So even though it was Logan Paul, I was just happy that it wasn't Jey Uso. Okay. Because I don't need to see 10-minute yeeting every single week. I don't need it. So Logan Paul, he claims to be full-time. I still don't see it, but that's fine. He comes out, he talks some trash, the same old stuff. CM Punk comes out and interrupts him, and they go back and forth. And it ends with Logan sucker slapping, I would say. Sucker slapping. But he slapped him pretty hard, and Punk bit his tongue. Punk bit his tongue. So it's serious, right? But before getting into what they might be teasing between them, I noticed that a lot of people are getting a little bit over Logan Paul. And I thought that was interesting because most people who have been watching, WWE since Logan came in and shocked the entire world, I would say, with just how naturally athletic and good he is in the ring. People have always credited him for being a natural heel and able to just like draw that negative reaction out of the fans. But I from what I was seeing online, and this is just online, obviously I'm not in person every week, so I can't speak for every fan, but I was seeing a lot more criticism of like the lack of character work from him, that he's just leaning very much in on the like stereotypical low hanging fruit, like easy heat, and that there's not just any growth from him. We're just really going in of like, I'm Logan Paul, you guys hate me, so I'm just going to say things that you're going to not like. And I feel like there is kind of legs to that argument, because I think that, we were just talking about this like the last 2 weeks about the entertainment value of professional wrestling, and people get very invested in characters and storyline development, and Logan hasn't really been doing that. We're just seeing like the same things. He keeps saying the same things to different people, and I think people are getting kind of tired of it. It's like, it's fine if Logan's going to be the bad guy and he's going to have this, like, I don't know, I would almost compare it to like 90s villain, 90s bully vibe to him. However, you also need to do something different, and you can't, like, to me, it felt like he lost a boxing match to CM Punk. Like, even if he got the best of him at the end, it's like you can't pull the kind of like expected talking points against a guy like CM Punk. People are going to notice your weaknesses immediately, and it feels like maybe that's why it was being so discussed online.
Well, because Dickie just brings up exactly what I'm going to say. Like, he isn't a character because he's a celebrity. He is someone that is a public figure. He is a controversial figure that, is polarizing. And because of that, you have people that absolutely hate him and despise him and want nothing to do with him in WWE. But then you have Logan Paul followers. The way WWE sees that is that those Logan Paul followers are going to watch the show. They're going to be fans. So they're looking at it from that business standpoint, and that's great. But from what we're talking about, he still does a good job, and it isn't awful that I don't want him on my screen. It just would be nice to see a little bit more from him. The issue is that the crowd hates him so much that they just want to boo him. Well, and he hasn't learned to steer into that and just go with it like Dom did.
And it's fine. Like, that's what I mean. Like, I don't think that what he's doing is like necessarily bad or wrong. I just think that I don't know that he's established enough in wrestling to not have too much of a character. And I'm not saying that he has to go and be like the Undertaker. It's like, obviously we know that's not realistic because that's like full-blown gimmick. But I do think that he needs to turn it up more, because I feel like there needs to be a little bit more of a distinction between Logan Paul the wrestler and Logan Paul the like normal dude, like we need to have a little bit more of that, because otherwise we are just going to get bored of it. It's not going to matter at the end of the day that he puts on some good matches or he does some cool moves. It's like, if people are only going to boo you simply because of who you are from what you've done outside of wrestling, then why are you here? Like, do you know?
Do you think he needs someone to bounce off? Like, right now he is in that weird lull period because it is a 6-man match, the Elimination Chamber. There's no one to bounce off and develop a character as much, where if he was going up against CM Punk or John Cena or even Seth Rollins, there would be an avenue for him to go where he can do more with the character development. But because he is who he is and the match is what it is, there's no real time to do that. So you're just going to have to make with what you got.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. I think the biggest thing, first of all, is that he needs to be a consistent person on TV, and we also need to see him wrestling on Raw or SmackDown. I mean, I guess he's on Raw, but I think we need to see him in matches. And it can't just be because, you're going to get old of hearing him say the same things every single week, because that's all he's doing all he's doing is cutting a promo or, you know, going back and forth with somebody. Like, yeah, that's going to get boring no matter who we're talking about, because it's going to be the same thing every single week. And I think, yeah, he could benefit from working with some of these veterans, but at the same time, you already know what he's going to say against a guy like John Cena, against a guy like CM Punk, against a guy like Seth Rollins. And that's not necessarily a great space to be in, especially at this point in his like WWE tenure. If he really wants to be around for a long time, we shouldn't be able to sit here and be like, yeah, you're going to mention this, you're going to mention this, you're going to mention this, and you're going to mention this. Like, you can hit some of those points, but can you bring a little bit more to it so that it's not so like, okay, we already know, so we're going to tune out, because why do I need to listen to what you're going to say if I already know what you're going to say? If that makes sense. So I don't know. I think that the biggest thing is, I mean, at the end of the day, I don't even necessarily care, because I'm not like a Logan Paul fan, but if you're going to take time up on the television show that I watch, I want to be like at least somewhat interested to have a reaction that isn't just like, oh, I'm bored.
You
know, it seems like for the most part, people are agreeing, right?
Yeah, for the most part.
Okay, I'm just trying to look and see. Oh, heels. Yeah, I see him saying like heels. I think we've kind of talked about this too, that and it's one of my biggest gripes with Triple H is the lack of like legitimate heels in the company. But I do understand the struggle that they have in making legitimate heels, simply because of the availability of social media and people meeting them all the time. And it's hard for people to believe that they are this bad or this evil or whatever. The way that it used to be. The mic's picking up your TV, by the way.
I'm gonna go change it.
Okay.
I got it.
So I feel like to that extent, you can kind of give them a pass, but obviously there are people that are hated in a way that WWE kind of created. Like, we can even look at Dominic Mysterio. They created this massive heat because he went against his dad. And yeah, he's kind of like that annoying little twerp or whatever, and that kind of works, but day to day or week to week, he's not really doing anything to maximize that hate or to get more of it, you know? So
yeah, there's no like Dom. Yeah, I meant to hit this one. Drew and Gunther are great heels. Kevin Owens is a great heel. It's these guys that they're not evil. That's the big thing that is different from then and now, is that those were evil heels, that they were something out of a story or a movie or something, where these heels now are just they're just humans, but you kind of agree, but you're like, oh, I wouldn't do that. Like, it's more morality than just straight up evil. You know what I mean? Like,
well, and I think it's because you can relate in one way or another.
Relatability, thank you.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing, is like, it used to be that they made this guy look like a stereotypical bad guy, whether he was like big and buff or they would make him dark and scary. Like, that was the easiest way to get people to just immediately fear you. And that doesn't work anymore, because obviously, for the most part, the fans are smarter than believing that this person's a superhero or like a supernatural figure or something like that. And then, everybody in the company is big and strong. Like, so you can't say like, oh, I'm going to be so terrified of so-and-so because they're so big. It's like, okay, but there are people who are equal or bigger than them. So that doesn't work either. I don't know.
Cross is a great heel.
I know. I thought his tweet was really cool about, recognizing that the fans have been supportive of the last year, and I want to respond so bad and be like, you're welcome.
You're friggin' welcome. We've dedicated a show to it.
Yeah. But before we move on from Punk and Logan Paul, I thought we could talk about this, because obviously a lot of stuff is going to be determined by what happens at the Elimination Chamber, and a lot of things are going to be unclear because of the Elimination Chamber. And I would say, because there are so many top stars in the men's Elimination Chamber specifically, that means that what they're going to do at Mania, we have no idea. at this point. So they're teasing things. It's just like what they've been doing with the champions, or even like Cody Rhodes, right? Because he's going to face whoever wins the Elimination Chamber. So they keep teasing him with different people that are in the match to be like, okay, maybe this is the direction or this is the direction. This kind of felt like that to me, to have Punk come out. Like, yeah, he had this little thing with Logan a couple weeks ago, but this went beyond that. And the fact that it ended in that slap, it was like, okay, are we setting this up as a potential Mania match? I kind of hope that's not what it is. Like, I hated that I was sitting there cheering for Punk because I'm like, what has happened to me? You know?
Yeah, where we?
Who am I?
Who am I?
Don't make me cheer CM Punk at WrestleMania. Don't.
I have a feeling that this was not a direct tease for a match in the future, but a tease to get you hyped for the Chamber.
Mm-hmm.
To me, without going too much into my prediction for the Elimination Chamber, it does feel that Punk, we're still getting Punk winning. You know what I mean? And Punk versus Cody is what's best for business. As much as we would like to see Cena competing for the championship at Mania, I feel like there's a bigger plan with him to get 17, because let's face it, we're not going to have a John Cena retirement tour without him winning his 17th. And
yeah, but you don't want it to happen right away either.
That's what I'm saying. But here's the thing. We're in the 1% of that period where every wrestling fan or WWE fan, every WWE fan can all agree that John Cena needs to win the championship before he retires. So put that on the back burner, because we still have a whole bunch of dates he's got to fulfill before that happens.
Yeah, 30 something.
Correct. And with Punk versus Cody at Mania, and with this new development of the final boss wanting Cody's soul, it seems that CM Punk would be the guy for that more than anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems that The Rock is going to be at Mania, but he's obviously not going to fight. Maybe he has a thing with a little face off with Roman or whatnot, but I don't think he's going to be facing him there. It's most likely that we're going to see CM Punk and Cody. Back to the original point, Logan Paul slapping CM Punk is only getting you excited for the Elimination Chamber, not WrestleMania.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Logan ends up doing at Mania, because you assume he's going to be there. I just feel that they shouldn't. I know it's going to happen, so I'm not even arguing that it won't, but I feel like there needs to be something that happens at the Elimination Chamber or right after it, because at this point, putting Logan on the Mania card feels forced. Because
even if it's against Cena?
Well, that's why I'm saying something has to happen with him at Elimination Chamber, or like right afterwards, for it to make sense. Because if nothing really happens, or there's nothing teased to be like, oh, maybe that's who he's facing, it would feel forced right now that you're like, oh, we just want Logan Paul on the card, because he's not beefing with anybody. Yeah, he's not around. He's not around enough to really have like a feud going into Mania, So it feels like, Elimination Chamber is going to dictate what happens with him too.
Absolutely is.
Richard thinks that it's going to be AJ or Cena.
I want to see the second one, because AJ needs to face Finn Balor.
I know,
at
but
WrestleMania.
I don't think that's happening.
Oh, I need it. Wrestling fans need it.
I need it, but it feels like it's going to be Braun Breaker, and it's like cool for Braun, but like,
well, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Wouldn't this be the time to have a multi-man match?
Yeah. Tom says he thinks that CM Punk will get cheered over Cody because he is boring to some people. I think that the only way that they go against each other is if CM Punk decides that he will be the Rock's guy. Otherwise,
that's it.
Yeah, yes, I don't think that they're gonna put babyface Punk against babyface Cody. That's like bad.
That's the favor.
Yes,
that's the favor.
Potentially, I don't know. Because then you also have to remember, where's Roman? Roman takes
out Seth for the favor.
Oh, maybe.
Like it's a double layer. Like Punk's gonna sell his soul. Like obviously, like The Rock, whatever. Like, and then I mean, he still has to win a match with 5 other
Yeah.
dudes.
Yeah.
How does he take out one of the biggest threats? You call in Roman, takes out Seth, and then it also continues what happened at Royal Rumble. See, that's continuity, guys. That's continuity. You know?
Yeah. So. Anyway, okay, moving on to a triple threat between Ludwig Kaiser, Pete Dunne. That's right, Pete Dunne, and Penta. First of all, Penta has like such an incredible entrance, and I'm so glad that they've like timed it correctly since it started. I don't know, I'm just obsessed. And this was, you knew it was going to be a good match because of who was involved. And I'm not joking when I tell you that I was legitimately shocked that my guy Kaiser won. But we just talked about this, if Penta would lose anytime soon. And I said, I don't think so.
I didn't think so.
But if he does, he's not going to get pinned. And that's exactly what happened. So it is significant that Penta got his first loss since he joined WWE. However, Pete Dunne is the one who was pinned. So that's interesting. But I'm also I'm so happy for Kaiser, because come on.
It's he needed like the win.
Yes.
He needed it.
Yes. And as much as I love that there's hype around the Intercontinental Championship again, I kind of hate what's going on, just because it's looking like it's going to be a multi-man match. And I wanted to see more of a focus on Kaiser. So I mean, I don't think he'll win from Braun Breaker. Like, if we're being honest, if they're going to do a multi-man IC title match, Kaiser's not beating Breaker. But I want to get to that point eventually, like sooner rather than later, because I think you need to reward Kaiser for what he's doing. He's so good.
He's so good. He has been so incredible in the ring, but not only that, anytime he has a mic, you know, the man is putting in the work. Like,
everybody miss it who has ads.
Yeah, he was the final boss. Just let us know that.
Yes.
Why am I not watching on VPN?
It's so annoying, because this is I get it, right? They're going to do stuff like that because now that they're on Netflix, it's like, hell yeah, we want to do these types of things during the commercial break because we want more people to pay more money for Netflix. But it's like, it's already like $25 with ads or something a month.
It is.
So it's like, if they weren't posted online like almost immediately, maybe I would consider paying for the no ads. But the fact that you can see it basically right away, I'm kind of like, is it really worth the extra dollars? No. But I do wish that we could see it. Like, I wish more people were able to see just how good he is, because Kaiser, although he was able to talk a heck of a lot more when Imperium was a trio, he didn't get that kind of moment, you know? And if people aren't excited about him from what he does in the ring, and obviously you're supposed to boo him so he doesn't have like universal support or anything, it would be good for them to see like just how good he is on the mic when he's given an opportunity to actually focus and talk about himself rather than trying to put a group over or a tag team over. So that is the part that like bums me out more, is just that he's not getting that attention from, or he's not being viewed by a wider audience.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I think, I mean, we have to see more from him over the next couple months. Tom says, why do I feel an 8-man ladder match for the IC title is happening? Braun, Kaiser, Dom, Pete Dunne, Penta, AJ, Finn, Sheamus. I mean,
I'm okay with it. I'm a fan of that.
I almost hate that you said this, Tom. I almost hate
it. Tom the Man.
Yeah, Tom the Man 94. I almost hate it because I think I like it that much that now I'm gonna try to forget it because I don't want to get excited about this. And matches that are like 8 people are not my favorite, just because it's like so much.
No, but that's star power. That's star power.
But this would make me excited because Braun would be featured in a big match. Kaiser. Then we would have Dom and Finn in the same match. Sheamus going for his first ever IC title. Penta's debut at Mania. Pete Dunne in like an actually like important Mania match. AJ Styles, of course, like competing for something instead of just like an exhibition match. You know, shout out to him in LA Knight, but like obviously that wasn't for anything last year. So that would be incredible, actually.
That would be awesome.
Oh, you still can't see him even if you don't have ads? Oh, okay. Oh, it's because of we're American. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't. Let me move to the UK or something. I don't know. Money in the Bank at Mania would be kind of cool, but they would have to completely get rid of Money in the Bank pay-per-view, and I don't know if they'll do that.
The pay-per-view is too profitable, guys. They're not going to go away from money.
Don't even get me started about someone said on Twitter that imagine if we were going into WrestleMania 41 and Drew McIntyre still had the Money in the Bank briefcase. Do you know the best case scenario for that? Jey Uso beats Gunther.
Oh, true. And then
he gets his 5 minutes of Yeet celebration.
Seconds.
Mm-hmm. And then Drew comes out and says, F you, F your celebration, cashes in, and he gets the revenge.
You just hear the shing.
Yep.
And then bagpipes.
Because this is the thing, and not everyone's going to agree with me, and I'm not trying to convince you. But this person was saying that the biggest reason why that they want Jay to win at Mania is for the reaction, because of his entrance and because of the reaction to him winning. But after that, as we've argued, where does he go? There's nothing exciting for the most part that will come from a Jey Uso World Heavyweight title run. So the best scenario for this is to let him win the World Heavyweight Championship, which is another thing that people want, is to say that he could win a singles title. Give him that entry or that celebration, and then immediately pull the rug. And then we could get Gunther versus Drew. Come on now. Come on now. I mean, this just broke my heart because I don't remember if you were upset about it, but I hated that Drew cashed in on the same night. So I
liked it. It felt inevitable.
But see, I think that I even talked about this.
You knew it was going to happen.
Yeah, well, I don't know. But I was saying that this is what I wanted for Drew, like at Mania. But I was saying it would be great if Punk won the World Heavyweight title and that he was able to cash in on him at WrestleMania. Yeah. So it's the same scenario this year, but obviously just a different person because Punk is not the champion. Oh my gosh, we're getting so many comments. Oh my god, Final Boss says Drew could have cashed in on Jay, get some payback on the bloodline for screwing him out of the title in England. I know. I don't think it would be bad booking. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, I get it. You guys want Jay to win and have a world heavyweight title run, but I'm predicting you guys will be over it a lot quicker than you want to. Slam Tackle TV, he says, right, that's some good storytelling right there, but the problem is that Triple H doesn't know how to book a good Money in the Bank holder. Yeah, that's been a problem, especially the women. The women have been
okay.
Damian Priest was okay,
great, but it was okay for the payoff. Yeah. The payoff we got, maybe that was the plan all along. I mean, fair, but he also had it for 4 weeks. Yeah, I think this is the thing. Him to just be
a champion. I think that's the thing is like there were reports saying that this whole idea of Jay winning the Rumble and, you know, getting this match at Mania had been a plan in the works for a while. And I think this explains it. The reason that they had him win the IC title is because they want him to win the World Heavyweight title at Mania, but they wanted it to look like a legitimate win or like a credible win because he had already won the Intercontinental title. So they couldn't be like, oh, his first singles title is the World Heavyweight title. You know what I mean? Anyway, let's move on to, this is interesting too. This is another thing that I saw online. I just kind of wanted to talk about it because we thought it was good, but not everyone is feeling that way right now. And we saw the New Day take on Joaquin. Why do I always forget his last name?
Joaquin Phoenix. No, Wild. The Phoenix is the actor.
Yeah,
it's Joaquin Wild.
Yeah, Joaquin Wild and Cruz del Toro of the LWO. And it was just it was a good match, obviously, because the LWO guys are incredible. We just never get to see that. But the New Day had to win, obviously. So then they beat the guys up. They then beat up a velour tracksuit wearing Dragon Lee, which I was like, hello, high school.
He brought out the style.
Yeah, he was just missing the bedazzled juicy on his butt. You know what I mean?
Yep, that would have been a nice touch.
Oh my gosh. When I had one of those.
Of course you did.
In middle school. Oh my God.
Damn right.
Those good days.
Shit
anyway.
Poppin'.
Yeah, no, it was. So I just was seeing this, and that's the only reason I wanted to talk about it. I'm not even saying that I necessarily agree, but I felt like it was worthy of discussion because I was seeing a lot of people on Twitter specifically who were saying the heel turn was great. The first couple weeks was great, but they kind of just don't care about the New Day right now, and they don't really care about what they're doing or what they're saying or whatever. Mm-hmm. And you know, I don't necessarily agree, but when I'm trying to think about why that might be, I think the biggest thing is the person they turned heel on is not around.
Yeah, and there's only 2 of them.
Yeah, and so I feel like because Big E is not like an active guy, they can't really have that build up of a feud or a story between them. So yeah, they're a heel, but it kind of falls flat not that long afterwards because they're not going against Big E to get you to hate them more every single week. They're just being put against the LWO. Or basically that's the LWO vortex that they've been stuck in. And people don't care, respectively, enough about the guys in the LWO to hate the New Day more because of it. So I mean that's the only thing that I can really think of because I mean I don't know.
I got a suggestion for you.
Okay.
What the New Day need. They need Omos.
Oh yeah.
Omos is just coming back from Japan. He's learned a thing or two. That's what you do when you go to Japan. And could you imagine them upgrading from Big E to Omos?
Big O.
Big, like, that's the enforcer that they need to get shit done. They've done a lot with their mouths and a lot with their walk-in and, you know, attitude. They have not done anything of substance. Bringing in Omos gets them that substance.
I mean, I think that's interesting. I mean, it feels like that. I mean, if we're gonna talk about Omos coming back, that feels like the easiest way to get him in
easily.
You know,
yeah.
Because I doubt they're gonna bring him in to be like the lovable giant. You know, because that would be easy. I mean, how do you not like Omos? You see one video of him and you're like, I love you. Like you are the sweetest person on earth.
Homo sapiens rise.
Let's go. Oh my gosh. I love how he was like walking around Japan and he just gets stopped by that one person that's like a YouTuber or whatever. And they were like, are you famous? Because you're gigantic.
You're huge.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think that would be pretty cool. Richard does not agree.
Okay.
Okay. But yeah. Anyway, moving on to I've got feelings. I've got feelings.
Okay.
I've got feelings. So I was surprised that Gunther was in his ring gear because we haven't seen him wrestle. Actually, apparently that was his first match on Raw of 2025, which is insanity that it was at the end of February. So I was shocked. I was like, okay, cool. Because when we were talking about this lull period between the Rumble and Mania, since, you know, the Rumble winner chose Gunther, it's always hard to fill that time because it's like, well, he can't start a new feud because you can't really get super invested in it because you know that it's going to end before Mania because obviously he's going to face Jay, and WWE have almost never, and I'm saying almost never, had somebody be the champion, be chosen by the Rumble winner, and then change the champion before the Rumble or before Mania happens. So you know Gunther is going to stay champion, right? So when he comes out and he does his little spiel, you immediately knew that he was going to pick a small little dude, a jobber, whoever. You just knew it. It's like, again, one of the like oldest plays in
Tricks
wrestling,
in the book,
right?
yeah.
And of course he picks Tozawa. And I get what they're going for. Okay, it's easy for this big burly dude like Gunther to pick on the scrawny little Tozawa and like prove that he's like big and dominant and he's a bully and look what I'm gonna do to Jey Uso. Cool. It was a squash, kind of. That's
that's the thing.
Like, that's the problem that I had a problem with.
But okay,
I hate that Tozawa got any offense in. That's my issue. You're telling me that a guy that weighs like $150 was able to drop kick Gunther multiple times. He was able to get him down. He was able to do reversals.
That's the thing.
He got a near fall. He got a near. No.
He was talking about his accomplishments outside of WWE. Like he was trying to bring that into it. That was the whole point of what he was doing. And it makes sense. Like I need to bring this up because a lot of people are hating on this match. Why you're saying it never should happen for a different reason. People are saying it should never happen because why is Gunther facing Tozawa? Did you see that at the beginning of the show, Gunther walked in to the Alpha Academy doing the stupid TikTok dance?
Yes.
That's details that go into why this makes sense and why it's happening. And Gunther beforehand was talking about look at you when you were outside of WWE and look at what you've made yourself to come here. So he was hyping him up to get some offense in. However, he was obviously going to win. It's fucking Gunther.
I know, but this is the thing. I see, like Richard saying, we can't go with size. The reason why I'm saying size, okay, all right, this is weird, but you'll get what I'm saying. Size matters.
Size matters.
In this case is because that's kind of what they're leaning on when they're talking about Gunther versus Jey Uso. They're talking about like, look at how dominant Gunther is in the ring because he's strong, he's big, he like slaps the shit out of people. Like that's part of the reason why they're saying Jey has no chance against Gunther. So that's why I'm saying like that's part of what you could argue was the problem with this match, at least in my eyes. Because what and I've said this before, I don't like any of these matches where it's like clearly Gunther should win this match, and usually he does anyway. So I'm not saying that's a problem. I hate seeing these guys get any offense in. I want to see a more dominant Gunther. I want to see the Gunther that literally never barely got even hit in a match. That's the Gunther that I'm yearning for, and I'm not getting it. So then to see him get like slapped by Tozawa and he's like down on his knees, I'm like, what is happening? Like, how am I supposed to credibly believe that, this isn't going to happen with Jey Uso? Like, I want to believe that he's going in and like, oh yeah, we want to believe that Gunther is the favorite. Well, he just got bitch slapped by Tozawa. Of course Jey Uso has a chance. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm being somewhat nitpicky, but I just, I don't know. He also got a roll up, guys. He got a near pin. He got
remember
a near
pin. Remember when the 1, 2, 3 kid?
Yeah, but let's also not forget how close of friends they were. Come on.
1, 2, 3.
And Razor was a great worker. Scott Hall understood the business.
Got it.
I know.
That's why it happened. Yeah, we're still praising Scott in this. Oh God.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like, I don't know. I think that, I'm just frustrated with what's going on. Are you okay?
Yeah, we're fighting. We're good.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I want to see more from Gunther. That's all. I just wish that we could see more. Yeah, I wasn't into it. So, yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. I understand why they did it. Just as a Gunther fan, I want to complain. So, It is what it is. Okay, moving on to, we had the women's IC title match between Dakota Kai and Lyra Valkyria. Was a good match. The crowd got really into it, which was a nice change because it feels like these mid-card matches specifically have not been that exciting for at least the live audience. So it was great that they got a holy shit chant in the middle of it. And the fans were very invested in it. So that was great. Dakota did lose. And then we got Ivy Nile coming out, beat her up, and then beat up Lyra. And then that sparked like kind of a controversy, I guess. Like even SRS was mentioning it, that it seemed kind of silly to make Dakota the number one contender.
Yeah, and then for her to just lose. Yeah, I'm with him. That didn't make sense.
When Ivy could have been it if this was what was going to happen anyway.
Exactly. You know? It did not make sense. It felt like it was just like a throw to Dakota, just putting her in a championship match because they like Dakota.
Yeah, I think.
Excuse me. I'm so sorry.
Oh my god!
I'm so sorry. That just came up.
I think besides that confusing part of it all, I think I'm also just confused of what they're trying to do with Dakota, because they were definitely trying to hype her up and made her, you know, like she was in the finals for the women's IC title. She's been a number one contender. It felt like they were going all in on Dakota. And I'm not saying right now is the time. I knew that she wasn't going to beat Lyra. That doesn't make any sense either. So I don't know. But it's like, okay, is Lyra going to lose to Ivy Nile and then Dakota will win it from her? Is that what's happening? I don't know. Because it feels like Dakota is just going to be is in that weird gray area right now, where it's like they're not treating her like a main event girl, obviously, but they want her to be in the mid-card title, but like she kind of can't win it right now because it would be babyface versus babyface. But then like what do you do if she doesn't? And they just moved them from SmackDown to Raw, so it's like they got to do something with her, right?
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know. It's very weird. I don't know. Yes, Lyra, they love that.
They love the woo.
That's why it was confusing when she came out at the Rumble. They skipped over that whole beginning of her music. So when her music played, I had no idea who she was.
Oh yeah, that's right.
They skipped over that, and I was like, Def Rebel already, you know, you don't make music that's identifiable, and then you cut out the part that is identifiable.
The most identifiable.
Yeah. Jay, because I forgot we found, you know, his two accounts. Asks what do we think of all the new logos on the Raw ring mat? I still think it's ugly. I mean, I hate it, but it's true when we talked about it that it was going to you know, you kind of ignore it after a while, but like it still stands out a bit to me, and I just think it's ugly. But it's not changing. So I wish it could be like SmackDown, where it was just the big WWE in the middle and that was it. But we're on Netflix now, so you got to get in like 18 different logos.
You do it for advertising.
Yeah, I hate it. Slam Tackle TV says, guys, here's my thing. Why didn't Ivy interfering during the match, or why couldn't she have faced Lyra this week and in the match could have ended by DQ? I know. That's what I'm saying. It's very confusing, but clearly they're trying to set something up. Maybe I think that we're going to see, I don't know if it's going to be a three-way between them, if we're going to see Lyra versus Ivy, Dakota versus Ivy. I mean, it feels like it's mostly going to be Ivy versus Lyra, because I mean, she didn't do anything to Dakota during the match for that to really warrant anything. But yeah, it's weird right now. And yeah, it is. It honestly is. Oh, you know what's really bad? The commercials for Real American Beer. You would think that a guy that like creates a company, you know, like literally creates a beer, would be able to make a commercial that didn't feel like your local carpet installation.
Oh, it's awful. It's not a beer commercial.
No, but it also feels like, you know, those local like furniture stores or
it looks very local.
That's how it feels. And I'm like, you want us to take you seriously though? Okay. Okay, Hulk.
He's probably
Hulk.
Yeah.
He's an idiot. Anyway, moving on to, we kind of already talked about this a little bit earlier, but we got Braun Breaker versus Dirty Dom. And I'm sorry, I love Dom. You know what is funny? I came across these girls on TikTok and they're ranking wrestlers by attractiveness. Yeah. And one girl is like obsessed with Dom. Like she doesn't even really watch wrestling. She just knows
She's
like
obsessed with Dom.
She thinks he's so sexy, is what she said. I was like, I'm like, I don't know that. I just was like, it kind of reminds me of like when Pete Davidson was like all the rage for girls. It's like,
yeah, everyone thinks Pete Davidson's so hot.
Yeah. And now it's like that. I feel like that's the same energy with Dom, but go off, King. Anyway, so this ends up in a disqualification because the Judgment Day ends up getting involved, obviously, which I'm here for, because this just brings more attention to the IC title and Braun Breaker. And we've talked about Braun Breaker not being a big part of Raw on a weekly basis is a problem. And this feels like, okay, they're going to try to do something with him.
Yes. Sorry.
It's okay. Someone's sleepy.
Yeah, it's been a long day, Sarah. Yeah, to me, it just seems like they want to put Dom with top guys because they view him as a top guy, and he's going to put on a good match every time he goes out there. To me, the end goal of this was to tease Finn and Braun. That's what it seemed like to me, is to tease Finn and Braun. Eventually, Finn has his eyes set on a new target that isn't Damian Priest, and that target is the Intercontinental Championship.
And then also that could lead to more drama within Judgment Day.
Because who should be Intercontinental Champion, Dirty Dom or Finn?
So. Don't ask me that question.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah. But you know what else? They mentioned again about potentially adding another person to Judgment Day. And every time they say that, I'm like, who would it be? And I know we've had this conversation. It was like, we don't know who it could be. But because he said it again, I'm like, they have to have someone in mind. Right?
No, there's something. You don't tease it.
Yeah, but it's like, but who? But who? And it could be literally anybody, because who could have predicted Carlito or Raquel Rodriguez? Nobody.
No one.
So it's like, for all we know, it'll be Lyra Valkyria. You know what I'm saying? Like, it could be like the most random person.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, I feels like this is just all gonna lead to whatever they're gonna try to do at Mania. I know. Fergie Ferg it's been like what, 9 years of mediocrity. My poor babe. My poor Fergie. My poor Fergie. I don't really care about Miro. If we're being honest.
I don't care. I get this.
But I also question if he even wants to be wrestling still, because didn't he move back to Bulgaria?
He just lost to Alberto Del Rio.
Okay.
In an Indies match. So that's what he's up to.
Oh, that's rough.
Yeah. I hate to do this, but this is an emergency. Continue taking comments, but I need to take a second.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just keep getting comments.
Okay. Okay. I had no idea because I don't pay attention, but I know that he was, part of the conversation with the AEW releases, last week or the week before. And people were saying, okay, maybe we get Rusev back. I think that people like the idea of these kind of people being back, but I don't know that anyone would really care about Rusev. People did not really care about Rusev when he was released in the first place. I think we all just pretend it's like, oh, it'd be fun, but it's like, Yeah, Aleister Black would fit. I just feel like if they bring in Aleister Black, which Richard says too, I don't know if they would put him in I guess he wouldn't be in a tag team, but he kind of feels like they would want to push him as a singles guy. So would be putting him in a group be the best move for that? I don't know. Well, and they got divorced. So I don't see that happening. They're no longer together. So I don't think that is she still in AEW? Was she released? No, I think she's still, I don't know. She might be still under contract. I'm not sure. Slam Tackle says, can we just get Dominic to be a single star? I'm over the Judgment Day. I've been a Judgment Day fan from day one and a Dominic fan from day one, but holy crap, let's move on. It seems like they're getting, they've been teasing it for quite a while, the implosion of Judgment Day, and they keep doing that between Finn and Dominic, so it feels like that's inevitably going to happen at some point. But I don't know. I think I like the Judgment Day and I get it, but I feel like we might even just get some sort of change, because it's possible that Finn gets kicked out. It feels like they're going to keep like kicking out the head honcho or whatever, and continue on with that. So I don't know. We shall see. I mean, kind of it I think was put on hold because of JD McDonough getting injured also. Oh yeah, they got divorced. So, or I mean, they at least filed. I don't know if it's gone through yet, but yeah. And I did not know that she was not in AEW. So, I mean, could open the door. However, I don't see that happening with Rusev.
So sorry about
yes.
That. All right.
That's okay. It's fine. Okay. Moving on to perhaps I don't know if I'm going to say one of the best moments of Raw, because I think there was a few. And I hate how good this was, because when we've been talking about who should face Cody at Mania, we both have said, and I think most people have agreed, it's not going to be Seth Rollins. We don't want to see Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes Part 4. Why did this make me want to see Seth Rollins versus Cody Rhodes Part 4?
Because they're that damn good at their job, Sarah.
So
That's
good.
Exactly why. That's why you want to see it now.
To me, this was like a big reminder for the people who are, someone in the chat earlier said, oh, people are bored of Cody Rhodes. How do you get bored of Cody Rhodes when he does stuff like this? And I get that he was in this promo, he was kind of teetering in between being the good guy and the bad guy because of what he was saying to Seth Rollins. And obviously Seth Rollins is beloved. So like, if you say anything kind of against him, you're not going to be considered a good guy necessarily. But I don't know. I think this was great. As I put here, it was a masterclass. Like him and they were able to like pull everything in, because we're talking about how far back the Bloodline storyline goes and how connected it is to so many different wrestlers. So they're able to like go back a year and you already know what they're talking about. We're talking about Seth turning on the Shield, him joining the Authority. Like that is something that I love, because it is rewarding the fans who have been around for a long time, and they're like, okay, let's tie everything in together for those who have been watching. And because those are things that you don't forget, and so I loved this. I loved the like self-reflection from Seth also, because that was pretty cool. But yeah, I don't know, I think this was great.
Seth saying, don't make me hate you, Cody Rhodes, is the best way to sum up this segment, because Seth was the MVP of WrestleMania 40.
Yes.
Yeah, Cody may have won the title, but Seth is 90% of the reason why he did it.
Mm-hmm.
And for the continuity purposes, Seth did lay out his entire body and life for Cody to win the title against the Bloodline, the final boss.
Mm-hmm.
And for a year later, for him to join forces with the final boss, it would be a slap in the face. So it made everything, Dickie's saying here in the chat, that it makes everything that happened on SmackDown make sense. It clears things up, and it also humanized Seth in a way, or not humanized, that's the wrong word.
No, I think you're right, though.
It did humanize Seth.
Yeah.
It did, yeah.
It kind of reminded you of like who he is, what he stands for, at least right now. Like acknowledging the things that he has done in the past that were basically just stepping over people to get to where he wanted, and he did not care about who he hurt in the process. Kind of trying to share that message with Cody before Cody potentially does that, as like a warning of like, okay, it's not going to be worth it. It's going to be like temporary satisfaction. Maybe you keep the title for a little bit longer than you would have, but turning your back on all of these people who have had your back is going to have like longer lasting impact on you negatively than you're probably prepared for or you want to deal with. And Seth obviously is still dealing with it. I mean, look at the beef that he has with Roman. That's 10 plus years of issues. So I thought that was, I don't know. I thought that was cool. And I saw this too, and I wanted to get your take because we've talked about whenever Cody loses a title, whenever that is, might be WrestleMania, it might be 6 months after WrestleMania. Who knows? We don't know. But when we're talking about, okay, who is the guy to dethrone Cody? Like we just said, if anybody had been the person to do it at the Rumble, or it would have been Kevin. It felt like everything was like, okay, lined up for Kevin Owens to be that guy. Right now, it doesn't really feel like there's anybody to be that guy right now. But when we see stuff like this and the storyline that could go into it, I could argue that it's Seth Rollins. Seth has never beaten Cody. That's like another added layer. This could become like the beginning, like, of that new chapter of like them going after each other, and like the beginning of Seth being like, you know what, I'm coming for your title now. I don't know. That's intriguing. I could see that.
No, that makes sense. That makes sense for Seth down the line. You know, it's definitely stirring there. So I could see that absolutely happening down the line.
I don't know. I feel like because they have such a deep history. I mean, and the fact that Seth is like a huge, like you said, a huge reason why Cody even won the title. And Cody mentioned that in this promo. That's like, okay, there we go. You got the emotional part of a feud for people to get invested in. So I don't know. I thought that was an interesting take because I had not thought about that. I mean, granted, Seth's on Raw, not SmackDown, but
still, I mean, down the line, the draft happens. You never know.
Tom thinks that we're going to see Roman sneak into the chamber like HBK in 2020.
But here's the thing. It won't be sneaking. It's the tribal chief. He needs to make his presence known.
Yeah.
All right? Like, he's not going to be just sneaking in, crawling through the ring.
Yeah. It's got to be like, yeah. And he asked, do you think, does Seth beat Roman? I feel like Seth has to beat Roman. Seth's never beaten Roman.
That's
Roman can afford a loss at Mania. He's not the champion.
He's lost to Mania multiple times. He can
and if it's gonna be like we're finally seeing this match on like the grandest stage of them all after everything that they've been through for the past 10 years, it's like I feel like we need Seth to win. Seth's trying to keep losing at Mania. Slam Tackle says, guys, I have to ask, why are they treating this Paul Heyman favor from CM Punk like it's a Money in the Bank briefcase? What the hell are we doing? Because they made it seem like it was a big deal.
Because it is a big deal.
And because the thing is we have to remember how big of a deal it was for Punk to side with Roman Reigns for War Games. Like, that was a big favor. So I think that or at least that's what they want us to believe, right? Like, they want us to believe, like, wow, this was a huge deal for Punk to do that. And so I think that they're saying, like, this favor has to be equal or bigger than that, or feel that way, you know? And if he's going to get Paul Heyman involved, it feels like that anyway. I get this because he's saying, Seth beating Cody, it doesn't feel believable. However, the last time they faced each other was like almost 2 years ago. So I think, and I feel like Seth is in much better like physical shape now than he had been at that time because he was dealing with so many injuries. I mean, he was dealing with stuff way before Mania 40 also. But anyway, moving on to the main event, which oh my God. Incredible.
Well, I have it here. Crowd was hot. Crowd loved the main event.
And you know what? I love that for so many reasons. One being that it was a women's main event. Okay.
Tag team.
And that it was a women's tag team, right? And I love that Liv and Raquel were involved because I think a lot of people can easily get behind a Bianca Belair match, a Naomi match, you know what I mean? But when it comes to like, we've talked about it and I've harped on it a lot that I feel like Liv gets way too much negativity, specifically about how she performs in the ring. And this was guys, a tag match cannot be this good if all the participants are not doing great.
Oh, 1,000%.
Liv killed it.
That move, that double team that they have,
the Code Breaker.
It was the Code Breaker. Yeah, that should be their tag team signature.
I love
that. Should be the end all. I get why it didn't end the match against Bianca and Naomi, but in any other match, that's how they should be finishing tag teams off. It's a hell of a move.
Yeah, and I really prefer the dynamic between Liv and Raquel this time around as opposed to the first time that they were tag champions. I feel like they just mesh together so much better. I love the Judgment Day influence. I love that Dom was out there to celebrate with them because, of course, Liv and Raquel won. Which, guys, I know that there was a lot of people that were like, "Oh my God, this was so stupid. Why would they do that?" Especially right before Elimination Chamber. Hello,
yes,
if you want
exactly.
if you want Bianca to be a singles person again, you got to take the tag titles off of her.
Yes, of course it happened before Elimination Chamber.
Yes, I mean, I think she's gonna win the Chamber, so yeah, she wasn't gonna be tag champion, but I don't know. I feel this definitely made the women's tag titles feel important. I don't know that it's going to stay that way because obviously they felt important when Jade and Bianca first won them, and then it kind of was again a roller coaster up and down every single week. So I hope that we can keep seeing this, and they feel like good people to go down to NXT, similar to the men's tag titles. So I hope that that's what we see because I don't want them to be cursed by the women's tag team championships again.
No, I think 3 times the charm.
I know, right? It has to be. It has to be. But yeah. So Gold is back in the Judgment Day. Thank God. Mr. Fergie cannot complain anymore. Okay. Can't be mad. Did he go out there? No, he didn't.
No, it was Dom. Just
Dom. No, I think it was online that he was responding. Richard thinks that Jade is going to cost them both. Interesting. I still want it to be just Bianca though. Oh, that's kind of cute. Calling them 2 chicks with attitudes. I like that. Slam Tackle says, listen, if we do Bianca versus Rhea, good. Just don't make it a triple threat match or more or have an interference, because if any of those things happens, I will be incredibly pissed off. I think if they do that, that's all it's going to be. I think that if anything, the Jade stuff is going to be dealt with before, because it'll be 7 weeks until Mania after Elimination Chamber. That's a long time to hash that out.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was Raw, guys.
That was Raw. And we thank you guys for tuning into this edition of the Raw Rewind. We'll be back tomorrow for the Elimination Chamber predictions. All right. Not by the Thursday. They will be tomorrow along with the Super Show. So, yeah, be here. And that's all I got. Subscribe down below. Follow the TikTok No Nights Off Show. And hit that subscribe button and bell notification to know every time we go live. All right. That's all we got. Thank you guys for tuning in. And God bless. Remember that you can do it. All you got to do is try. See you tomorrow. See you.